Well, I'm in the town of Myerstown, where the seminary is, and I just finished my Master's of Divinity degree. Through a series of events, the Lord spoke very clearly to me and said, "You need to go to school." And I thought, why do I need to go to school? I'm doing just fine. And just really continue to pursue, you need to go to school. And I knew somehow that I was to go to seminary and that I was to start in January of 2018, only a short 3 months later. So I did what anybody would do in this situation. I panicked. And but thankfully, God put in my path people who helped me to connect with Evangelical. And then, like I said, I began study in January 2018. Theology, obviously, foreign concept to me, because that is not at all where my background was. And so learning that obviously really expanded my knowledge and understanding, even of its relation, scripture. In other words, I always set theology off to the side and didn't connect for some reason. And then, coming to Evangelical, one of the things that is just a real integral part here is spiritual formation. And that really deepened my walk with the Lord and helped me to see how much so many people, myself included, can be in church every week, but really ignore the development of the spiritual portion of our being. The time that I sat in a class where I came face to face with the reality that I was not living the life and the person that God made me to be, and that I was living to please everyone else and had literally changed certain things about my personality and was living into other personality traits because I did not embrace me. And so that was huge. And then sitting in pastoral counseling class and really struggling with that and arriving at the day when I was so overwhelmed by the brokenness of humanity and thought, it's hopeless. Like, how can anyone help anyone? And again, just to have the professor that was needed at that time to speak life into me and to show me that it's not Christian rhetoric when we say that we are the hands and the feet of Jesus, but the reality that when we show up, he shows up. I do not believe in coincidence at all. I've come to know the God of the detail. I know sometimes we think that God's a little too busy for our detail, or he's got too bigger things to do. But I've learned that that limits who God is, because God does take care of the detail. And I could just tell story after story since coming to seminary of the detail that God's taken care of in my life. And he's doing it again, just bringing the right people into my life right now to help me develop things like a website or a logo. He has brought opportunities to preach. He's brought opportunities to walk a journey with some folks, either who need encouragement or who are in what I like to call wilderness season. But I see that differently. I see the wilderness as a place that is teeming with life. And we just have to pay attention because there is a lot in there for us. It is challenging, but there is so much there. We just have to take notice. And so I call it God's waiting room, because just like going to the waiting room in a doctor's office, The doctor's busy in the background getting ready for you and is orchestrating or working things out so that when you get there, there's something waiting, there's a prescription, there's somebody to listen, whatever. And God is very busy in our times of wilderness working. I think when someone is considering a program of study or a place of study, so often the emphasis is on the academics, our mind. But one of the things that I've appreciated the most about Evangelical is that they meet you at the whole of your being. They care about not just what you learn in books and in writing papers, but they care about where you are emotionally, where you are spiritually. And that is so important, because what effect can we possibly have on a broken world that is broken emotionally or spiritually, is lost, if those things are not something that we develop and that we learn how to develop and then how to share. So that is what I have appreciated so much at Evangelical, is the fact that every professor, every person that you meet, whether they're in the office, wherever, is very much concerned about the person that's coming through the door, and is very concerned that when they leave this institution, that they are able to then share not just one facet of who God is or who a person is or what have you, but that they are sharing all of themselves with all of someone else. And obviously, I'm in the personhood track for a reason. But I think, again, whether you're in the biblical track, whether you're an MDiv, whether you're going into the marriage and family therapy program, whatever that looks like, that's what sets Evangelical apart, is just, it's more than a book and a paper. And that's really important, but that's not to lessen the academic excellence here. It is just to say that we are more than a mind, and they recognize that, and so they engage all of them. And I think that's one of the things that's challenging about it as well, is that you can't just put your emotions or yourself on the shelf and only be just deal with your academics. There's going to be somebody who notices here if something else is happening, and is going to ask you about that, and is going to challenge you in your walk with the Lord, and not allow you to stay where you are right now. So a well-rounded education is absolutely what you have here, and just wonderful people to journey it with.
Is God inviting you to deeper study? Is God inviting you to support students? Visit us at evangelical.edu.